narked on you.
Yeah, she narked us. Welcome to Slasherville. I'm here. This is a very special episode. We're doing a video, and we have an interview here to get started. I want to welcome onto the show Bal Kang from Apotheosis Productions.
Welcome to Slasherville.
Hey. Hello.
So we're going to be interviewing this this young filmmaker with a very interesting film here, and I can't wait to get into it. The film is Mother Mortis, and the filmmaker is Bal Kang. So I want to start with the log line on this because this shit is crazy and I love it. So here's the log line here. A transvestite serial killer trying to sacrifice enough souls to raise an ancient demon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what? It was like, I've always loved slashers, and obviously like I'm on Slasherville, so it's like, you know, it's great. And my journey, like it only started really in 2018 when I started making short films. So like this is going to be my first feature, which is coming out. It's not the first feature that I made, funnily enough, because I made a feature before this, but I still haven't finished post-production on that.
I know that game.
Yeah. That one is called Defenders Eternal, and that's basically like a live action sort of fantasy film based on Norse mythology, telling the story of Ragnarok from the point of view of Loki. But no like Marvel Loki, like evil Loki. So like a real evil Loki. That, you know, that's quite different to Mother Mortis.
Nice. Sounds like it.
So where did you get the idea for this one? Just a bad nap that took a wrong turn somewhere? What, a transvestite serial killer? You just always wanted to do a slasher. But why this slasher? Why this idea?
I guess the way it sort of came about was I was looking to do a slasher, and I wanted to make one, and I wanted to do something which is a bit different from, you know, the iconic slashers like, you know, Freddy, Michael Myers, Jason. And I was quite inspired from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, and Hills Have Eyes and stuff like that. And this sort of came about really because I was with my friend and also a writer and actor, Jay Adams, and he had a mask that he brought, an old man's mask, and we were going to use it for a different film, and it came and it looked terrible. So he turned it inside out. We did what John Carpenter did with the William Shatner mask for Michael. We turned it inside out, and he put the wig on, and he sent me a picture of it, and that was Mother Mortis, which I had in my mind as soon as he sent me that picture. And then I was like, yeah, that's it. Like, you know, we can work on just that, you know, and from that, we made a short film, and everything really started from the short film, and then it's sort of spiraled out of control into a feature film. Yeah.
Good way to put it.
Yeah, that's a nice budget-friendly solution. Just turn that mask inside out. There we go.
Yeah.
Save some money. Because some of the special effects look pretty damn good. I was doing a little deep dive, and I saw that you're working with April Green, who was doing some special effects with you. And that stuff looks very, very good, which is important when you're going to do a slasher film. Yeah.
April is real good. Like, she is actually a tutor at college here in the UK that she teaches people like prosthetics and SFX, and she likes gore, and her favorite films like Hellraiser and stuff. So she's you know, she's a big Pinhead fan. And I met her, and, you know, we get on really well, and she's brilliant because she does all the practical effects, and I try to keep all the films practical effects as much as possible. So, you know, like, we make the prosthetics, you know, we do all our DIY, like filmmaking, filling them with blood, making guts, doing all that sort of stuff. And then what we do is we add a little touch of VFX where needed.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Just a little sprinkle, like, you know, sparingly. And I have a really good SFX team. Like, you know, I have April, Abigail Hunt, who's also one of April's students. And she's really good at doing things like, say if things go wrong, like Abby is really good at like stepping in and working out situations. And then I've also got Hazel, and Hazel's been with me from the start. And Hazel is like a specialist in making masks. She made a reptile mask for Jormungandr, like the world serpent in Norse mythology, which looked amazing. She also made Hell, the mask of Hell, which was like half skeleton. She did that. And Jay as well. Jay makes prosthetics and SFX, and Hannah does like prosthetics and SFX as well. So we've got a big team.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. A lot of practical, a little CGI, because you got to be careful, especially with that bad CGI blood splatter. That is the worst. Keep it out. Don't want to see it.
No, definitely not.
Or maybe, you know, the CGI of a poorly made mask for Halloween H2O. That shot in H2O. Oh man, it looks like Diablo 1.
Yeah.
So, Bal, tell me a little bit about your story. I feel like, I don't know why, maybe because a lot of horror movies are sort of low budget that we love, but I feel like a lot of horror fans go down the route of wanting to make their own films more so than other genres, but that could just be my bias. So tell me a little bit about your story, how you made the jump from someone that just loves horror movies to making your own productions.
Like, yeah, it's always a bit of a weird story. I guess everyone has their own, but mine was, my background is in law, and that's what I sort of trained in doing and stuff, and working a 9 to 5 for like many years. And there came a point where I watched loads of horror films, and I always loved 80s and 90s horror films. They were like my, I guess, like my comfort blanket and the thing that I'd go to when I wanted to just relax. And I know that sounds weird because like people getting their heads cut off and stuff, people would think that's relaxing, but to me, like, it's relaxing. And yeah, and I came to a point where like a close family member of mine had like had a heart attack, and they were in hospital, and I went to visit them, and that was really actually my first time having to visit somebody in hospital like that. And it just triggered off in a very cliched, probably sense, like, you know what, I want to do something which like makes me happy. Yeah, and I always had an interest in like trying to make films, and I just never had the actual balls to do it. And I just took the step and thought, yeah, I'm going to try. And I made one short film, which is called A Friend Amongst Fiends, which was like no budget. All my films are no budget, but like that was super like nothing. Like, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I put that together. It got into some festivals, won a few awards, people liked it. And then I made Mother Mortis, the short film. And then that also, like, I've sort of learned as I've made films, and that's sort of been my film school, I guess. And I've learned what to do right, and things that failed, which I've, you know, gone back to the drawing board and made new plans. And I'm still learning loads, like every day. And it's like the passion, I guess, that drives me, like wanting to make horror films, which I enjoy, sci-fi and fantasy films. Like, I tried to make films which I'd want to watch, but they haven't been made yet. And that's, I guess that's sort of my journey so far.
Yeah, taking that next step from the short films to the features. How did that work? What's if I may ask, what was the budget? How'd you get financing? Were you over there selling whatever you have in the house to get this thing made?
Yeah, so like obviously short films, you know, naturally like the budget is small. Like there are some people that, you know, are lucky to have a lot of money and they've got a lot of money into the short film, and that's great. But I didn't have anything to make the 2 first short films. Like literally I paid for just stuff myself, and I didn't have any funding, and I had my own camera, and I learned how to use that. And I brought that just by saving up money. And Black Friday.
There you go.
Yeah. And then I guess like the jump is quite big from going from a short to a feature, it's massive. Like, I'll be honest with you, the hardest thing is keeping people interested in the project, keeping the momentum going and dealing with the obstacles. Like, for example, if an actor drops out, or if, for some reason something goes wrong on the day that we don't have, or the shot doesn't go right, or we wasted a prosthetic or something like that. And then we're in a situation where it's much harder if you're doing a short and you've only got 1 or 2 people helping you, where you can solve that situation. But when you're doing a feature, and when I'm doing a feature, I have a bigger team of about 10, 15 people. They, being my crew, like, I can say, you figure this out while I go and try to do. And, it's easier to delegate those tasks and have people you trust. The crucial thing is picking the right team. Like, I'm really blessed that I've got such a good team, but that also comes from trial and error, in that I've rebuilt my SFX team like 3 times now, and now we've settled on sort of 4 key people, and we're in a stable position. But before then, people coming and going. So yeah, feature wise, budget for Mother Mortis, again, I think the whole budget altogether was about less than £1,000, and that was mainly materials and people and locations, and a lot of it was hustling, like, getting free locations, talking to people that own the locations, making friends with them, really, and going there and respecting the location as you film, so you don't leave a bad reputation, as a filmmaker.
Especially if it's a good location, you might want to go back there.
Yeah. Do you know what the thing is honestly, like, in the UK, I found so many good locations, and we've got a lot of history here, like rich history, like desolate sort of like rundown, decrepit abbeys which people have just left abandoned, old Tudor houses, moors. There's loads of different stuff, but you've just got to be clever, right? Because when I filmed Defenders in Yorkshire, and we were on this massive rolling moor, which was like as far as the eye can see, and we're filming in a big intro sort of scene, which we can only do in 1 take, and you see a ranger roll up in his car, and I was thinking, oh my god, he's ruined the whole shot. And then he moved us, because that was like rare land which we shouldn't have been on, because it was like some birds nesting, blah blah blah. So he moved us, and you can imagine like 20, 30 people all dressed like Vikings, like in fantasy gear with like giant swords, like walking down the street of some quiet English village.
Oh yeah.
And then when I went back and looked at the footage, we managed just to, with quick, clever editing, to take him out and save the footage. So there's always ways around not having a budget, through being creative and using your team's resources, sort of thing.
So yeah, that seems like a very cost efficient budget. Very nice. And one of the things that piqued my interest regarding your project and this interview in general is Mother Mortis is going to be distributed on Troma Now in February 2022. And I'm a Troma guy. I like those Troma movies. So I have some questions for you on that front.
Yeah, sure.
Did you get a chance to talk to Lloyd Kaufman by any chance?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I'm excited.
Brace yourself.
Yeah. I've been following Troma like since childhood, like obviously like Toxic Avenger, like Sergeant Kabuki Man, all them sort of films that I grew up on, and Poultrygeist, and the new one, Shakespeare Shitstorm, which looks amazing, which I want to watch. And yeah, definitely, Troma Now is like the B movie Netflix, and it's like, it's a must for cult people, so I've signed up, like I've got loads of people to be signing up, and Mother Mortis will be on Troma Now, and I'm excited about that. I've spoken to some people at Troma, and they're such a nice bunch, and I'm just honored to be on Troma Now and next to a lot of other good films. So
yeah, you're gonna be in good company there. And when I read your log line, it made me wonder: were you inspired at all by Troma's Terror Firmer? Because that's also like a transvestite killer doing stuff.
Yeah, a lot. I think when I watched that, that sort of image stuck in my mind for like a long time, and it is quite different. And there's a lot of films which obviously that own Troma Now, like Maniac Cop and stuff like that, Frank Heinenlotter's Basket Case, and all those films.
Again. Yep.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's like the fourth time on this show that we brought up Basket Case.
Yeah, like Basket Case 2 is my favorite personally. I think that's like a work of art. But yeah, I'm really excited. And the thing is like being indie, it's quite hard to like get a distributor or somebody interested in the film. And I was quite lucky in that I sent the short Mother Mortis to Troma Now's team, and they liked it, and we agreed that they'll put the feature on. And at the moment, they haven't seen the feature, and they'll be obviously the first ones to get it. But they're very excited, and they wanted to put the short on. So I said, the feature is like way better, because to give you a little bit information about the film, it's split into 6 chapters. So I split it into 6 chapters according to the 6 chapters that I filmed, because I filmed them in that order. And each chapter sort of shows more of what's actually going on and escalates, I guess, in madness and gore. There's 9 on-screen kills on Mother Mortis, and I've tried to do as many as possible, because obviously for me, on-screen kills are like really important. Like I love on-screen kills. And so I'm excited for you guys to definitely see it.
9
Yeah, we're excited too.
9 bloody, gruesome on-screen kills. Can't wait for that. How long is it? 90 minutes? 120?
It's an hour and 20 minutes. And yeah, it's always quite difficult, like doing the kills, because you don't want to do too many similar kills, or kills which have been done too often before. So we've got some crazy kills in there, like electrocution.
Good.
We've got like wrench bashing someone's head in. We've got a few others like knife in head and stuff like that. And
do we have any cantaloupe head squishings?
We do. And I actually used the Troma technique for that, which Hannah made the fake head out of watermelon, and we coated it in latex, and we filled it up with loads of other stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, you're gonna enjoy that scene.
Yeah, I'll be looking for that one specifically. Can't wait for that. So you did just about everything here? Director, writer, you wrote it as well?
Yeah, I wrote, directed, and I've edited it. Cameraman Rick Smith is really great, and he also does a lot of helping me practically in making stuff, because he's an engineer. Hannah and Jay are the producers. Jay also plays Mother Mortis and also did some of the SFX, so he's a very talented guy. Hannah did all the set and set production, set design and production design, and then we've got my music guy. So I've got a composer that is a musician in Switzerland, and he made all the music for Mother Mortis, literally painstakingly for each chapter, and it sounds amazing, because more music is real key, especially with horror films.
Oh yeah.
And then also I've got a really exciting US rapper who's like basically like Tech9 and does a lot of like horrorcore dark music. And his name's Enokh XMortiz, and you can find him on my page. He's also big into like splatter films, and he'd love you guys' podcast for sure.
Enokh
awesome.
XMortiz.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm familiar with that.
We'll check him out. If you say he's like Tech9, then I'll have to check him out.
Oh, you'll love it. Like, I actually don't really listen to too much music nowadays. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I listen to him in my car quite a lot, and he's got really dark lyrics, but a lot of sort of based on horror movies, and also doing like snippets of horror movies within his music. So you'll really like it. You'll really, really like it.
I do like that. I like when they do that.
That sounds
I'm like,
intense.
I'm like, I know that movie, and I like this beat. Everything's going very well. Now, I don't want to make you choose, but I'm very curious. Are there any standout performances that we should be looking out for? Any actors or actresses that just nailed it, and you can't wait for us to see them do their thing?
Wow, there's quite a lot. There are a few that really stood out. Obviously, Jay as Mother Mortis, because he did a fab job, and he got his hands bloody, and it wasn't easy wearing the mask. So Jay did a great job. He's definitely a star in the making. There was also Kathy Griffiths, and she plays one of the evil witches, like the over witch, you'd like to say, and she was amazing. A lot of hard dialogue, which she absolutely nailed. My final girl, Holly, she was great. Holly Laura Platt, she was fabulous as well. And there's another actor in there, Mark, who plays, I won't ruin it for you, but he's a very interesting character, and he's got probably the most controversial scene in the whole film, in which
man, you see what he's doing? He's teasing the shit out of it. That's what you do.
Yeah, I had one person puke up on that in that scene. I had two people walk off set, and I had one of the miners who was on the scene acting as well have to be taken off just for one scene because it was that bad. And when I've shown it to people, like even the composer, he's just been utterly shocked, and he said to me, I'm really stuck with how I'm going to work with that. So we got
to see. I want to see it so bad.
You're going to really like that. And what I'm going to do for you guys, I'm going to send both of you guys a DVD of the film once it's out, just to say thank you for the podcast. So we'll speak about that anyway when it's out.
We greatly appreciate it. We appreciate you coming on to talk about it. We hooked up on Instagram. We just found each other on there, and you were promoting this film, and I looked into it, and I sent it to Dale right away. I said, this looks like it's right up our alley. So tell me a little bit about the writing of it. Did you come at it with a character idea first, or a sort of a broader story idea? Was it more of a setting? Like, what was the genesis of the story writing process of it?
The story really was, based on the character of Mother Mortis. So when we started the short off, we didn't have any plans to do any feature. And we only had 3 actors and very minimal sort of props. But we had an abandoned fishery in Yorkshire, which was right next to the Humber River. And it was like all ruined and free access and just destroyed. So we thought we're going to build it based on the character and also based on the location that we've got, and keep it quite minimal so that, it's 10 minutes, but just, a lot of tension, a lot of action. Then from there, obviously I made the short, I sent it out to festivals, and I think it's got into 20 festivals so far. It's won 3 awards, and those are festivals all over. So there's one in Canada, there's some like in Europe, Asia, everywhere. And after we got such a good, I guess, sort of welcome for Mother Mortis, I started plotting, and we filmed it all during lockdown. So we filmed it in March 2021, where we went lockdown in the UK. And that was the reason why I had to keep it such a small group, because a lot of people weren't willing to come out and do it. But I thought, I want to film, so we're going to go out and film. And then,
sure.
and then we filmed part 2 about a month later, in which I got some more actors, and then I just carried on a continuation of the story. So part 1 and part 2 run sort of continuous, and then part 3, 4, 5 and 6 are, set a year after the events from 1 and 2. So it's all when you're watching it to say chapter 1 a year later, etc. So people know when things have taken place. And to give that effect as well, we also use different filters so that 1 and 2 look a bit more grainier as if they're older, and a bit of a cleaner filter on parts 3, 4, and 5 and 6. And it's just like the love of doing it just kept us wanting to make more, until the point where I thought, well, I've got an hour and 20 minutes. I just need to stop and edit.
So it sounds like you almost took like a miniature, turned it into a series compressed into one movie.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Like we all grew up with those movies, series in the 80s and the 70s, 80s, 90s, and they have several sequels, and it sounds like you tried to condense that down into one feature, which it sounds interesting. You mentioned before Dale hopped on here, why can't I do this? Because it's a mirror. It's not a mirror. This guy here.
Yeah.
You said that Jason was your favorite slasher.
Yes.
And you're on the 13th episode of Slasherville.
Oh, so it's meant to be.
So give me a favorite Jason moment.
Oh, so mine would be, I guess, for my favorite, which is Jason Lives.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
interesting pick.
That's definitely my favorite. I think that was probably my favorite because that was the first one I watched when I was younger, and then I went back and watched everything else. But my favorite moment probably isn't that bit. It isn't from that film. It's probably from Jason Takes Manhattan, where he is in the subway. And that's probably my favorite bit. And then from Jason Lives, it's when Jason gets dug up and basically goes on his killing spree. They're probably my 2 favorite bits.
That opening sequence, the sort of Frankenstein's monster. He's reinvigorated. That was the first thing. That was the first thing Bal mentioned when we hopped on together. Is that he saw the hockey mask and he said, "Oh, Jason's my favorite slasher," and I thought, "Oh, I didn't see that coming."
Yeah,
interesting.
I like Victor Crawley as well from Hatchet. Hatchet is a good sort of less known. One film that I saw really recently, which I'm guessing you guys have probably seen, Street Trash, which I absolutely loved, and you should definitely watch that.
I have not seen that. Street Trash.
So Street Trash is like a very, very. It falls in the niche of like the melt movies, and it's like you'll never see anything else like that. Basically, it's from the 80s. The special effects are insane. Story's really good, and that's my recommendation. If I say to you guys, from this podcast, go watch something Street Trash, watch it. You'll love it.
Yeah. Nice.
Walking away with so much homework from this thing. Damn, I love it. No, this is great. All righty here. So as we wrap up here, I have a question here. Obviously, this is going to be a bloody film. It's going to be a gory film. If you could rate it on a 1 through 10 blood gore scale, what are we looking at?
Oh, I'd probably rate it on an 8.5. In that, obviously, it's got 9 kills, all on screen. They're all really bloody, and it's got a lot of other sort of stuff to it, elements to it, which will definitely make people that watch feel uncomfortable. So, I'd give it an 8.5 at the moment. Yeah.
Well, we'll check in. We'll check in and we'll see how it stacks up to the 8.5. We'll see if you were over or under.
Yeah, definitely.
I just want to thank you so much for coming on. It means a lot. You're the first interview we've gotten on the new format, Slasherville. Seems like a good fit for our first interview.
13th episode, Hall of Famer. Now you're in the Hall of Fame.
You're in the Hall of Fame. You're in the Slasherville Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much, guys. It's such a pleasure joining you. I had such a great time.
So Mother Mortis, February 2022, Troma Now, which is like $5 a month. I'm sure they have some free trials. get it going on there. Where can people find you on the internets?
So obviously people can find me on Instagram at Apotheosis Productions. We've also launched. I've also launched a horror film festival called Splattefest, which I would love to get you guys involved in. So we'll speak about that. And that is $4, £3. And also you get the chance to win distribution of your film. If you win Best Feature, you get the chance to win your film being made into merchandise. If you win Best Short, and if you win Best Death Scene, you get a custom action figure of Mother Mortis sent to you from a guy who makes them called A Ghoul of Gabba. So definitely check that out. Thank you very much, Slasherville. So honored to be on board.
We'll put your links in the description on the episode for Apotheosis Productions on Instagram. Bal Kang, thank you so much for coming on. Anytime you want to come on, you let us know. It was a pleasure
Definitely.
meeting you, and we wish you the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Take care.